Now, before you guys start trying to tell me that the Flintstones vehicle or the rock from SpongeBob, you know, the one that they used to drive those babies from on, is the best vehicle ever, I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
It's not just a folder.
It's the Driftboard, baby. Use code T5G in the item shop when you buy new cosmetics, and we'll love you forever. But also, join the Discord to become a part of the top 5 gaming community, where we sometimes do open lobbies and giveaways. But most importantly, there are memes. Memes? Hey, I like memes.
Yeah, me too.
Fred, you are a meme. Well, anyway, the link is in the description, but without further ado, let's get into the top 5 Fortnite vehicles ranked from worst to best. And in at number 5, we've got the X4 Stormlink. Planes in Fortnite weren't exactly something many people were expecting to see before they were introduced. Getting sky high was something you'd have to build up to or use a special item like a rift to go in order to get up there. In Season 6, we got the closest to flying by using quad crashers and their boost mechanic, and it almost makes me wonder if this was something that inspired Epic Games to go ahead with the planes. After all, nearly every player was trying to find the best ways to travel around the map efficiently, using quad crashers, rift-to-goes, and sky builds to get that bird's eye view of the map, allowing you to see players all around for miles on end. Good for aggressive players and good for defensive players. I think a lot of the community just didn't expect Fortnite to go so far as to just give us planes outright. However, Season 7 smashes into the Fortnite island, and sure enough, we get an entire airport and plane barracks, stations spread out all around the map. It's a plane paradise. Right off the bat, you can find at least 20% of your lobby trying to go for these planes, testing out this new vehicle and how it works, and just generally trying to kill everyone at the same time. For a short while, it was a fun time. The sheer chaos that comes with any new item is something we all enjoy until eventually everyone gets a handle on it. Counterattacks are thought of, and in most cases, it balances out. Unfortunately, though, that chaos never really died down, and that balance wasn't really found with planes. Planes had too many strengths. They had pinpoint accuracy, incredible speed, combined with the fact that you could shoot and break through nearly every structure in the game, made third-partying one of the easiest and most frustrating experiences in all of Fortnite. And if you're the one getting third-party, then you're pretty much dead as soon as you hear the engine. It's just like... Then you'd have the high flyers. The planes allowed people to essentially sky camp, but without a sky build. You could find an entire squad just chilling on a plane at the top of the map, just waiting for the circles to keep closing, because at the time, planes didn't even have a fuel gauge. For a while, this was a major issue amongst the tournament scene as well. Now, Fortnite started to see it needed some work and added a whole bunch of nerfs. They caused the plane to do damage upon destruction to all passengers. They then gave it increased damage taken when ramming structures, and even increased that destruction damage again. However, the cries from the community just didn't die down, and Fortnite decided to vault them when bringing out the current Season 8. On the other hand, rumor has it that the planes may be coming back. Leaked files even indicate a new fuel gauge. Is Fortnite about to balance out the plane once and for all, or are planes just too much for a Battle Royale island-style environment? Number 4 is the ATK. The all-terrain car, aka the ATK, has been a pretty solid vehicle for the community, and in all honesty, except for the few wall breach glitches and leg-breaking animations, this golf buggy hasn't had any real problems. First showing up in Season 5, it lasted a good 3 seasons before being vaulted with the current Season 8. They weren't spread out all over the map like you see with a lot of the other vehicles, but these were kept to certain locations like Lazy Links, a lot of the desert biomes, and a few other smaller locations that you can find them in, the car parks or garages. You could get the whole squad inside, which was pretty handy, give you the ability to drift, which gave you 3 different levels of speed boosts. Sure enough, you could find yourself getting ambushed by an entire squad that just decided to drift up the mountain just when you thought you were so safe. But even the solo players would use this drifting up ramps and mountains method to get some airtime, switch seats, and pull off an awesome trick shot. The golf cart did damage opponents if you ram them, but it wasn't that effective. Plus, the hitboxes seemed to be a lot bigger for everyone inside the golf cart, which made for pretty easy target practice. Overall, though, it actually ended up being a solid and balanced vehicle for the community. It wasn't exactly overpowered in any way. It just did good at the job it was designed to do and got us from A to B. It was fairly quick and was great for anyone trying to get away from the storm, and now that the Fortnite map has evolved so much with the ground becoming more and more uneven, it makes sense that they've decided to remove it now. Rest in peace, ATK. You've saved many of us from that storm. And for that, we thank you. As we move on to the number 3 spot, which is the shopping cart. Now, Fortnite were pretty clever with their first ever vehicle introduction. For the first few seasons, many wondered about the game getting vehicles at all. Was it something Fortnite were avoiding? Had they just decided against it? Well, it turns out they must have known from the very beginning. All throughout the map, you could find hints telling us it wasn't for some time until we noticed. Understandably, most people thought it was just added decor, but shopping carts had been placed in some very suspicious locations to the point where you couldn't just say, must just be a coincidence anymore. Before the desert racetrack you see today, we had a dirt track with one little house. It wasn't much, but there were shopping carts lined up on the starting line as if they were about to race. Around certain car parks, like Flush Factories, you could find them perfectly placed in parking spots. Before Viking Village appeared, there was even a muscle car on top with a shopping cart on either side, almost like a car meetup or something. Now, all these placements gave the impression that Fortnite were hinting at a possible vehicle. However, at the time, they were all filled with rubbish. Then, on the 30th of May, we finally got it. Our very first vehicle, the shopping cart. Now, you gotta be real for a moment. This shopping cart was essentially in and out of intensive care with Epic Games. Wall breaching glitches were found everywhere and being abused like we haven't seen since. But after some really heavy-duty work on it, Fortnite finally had it up and running. Sort of. Kind of. You know how most shopping carts always have those one or two wonky wheels? Well, it seems like that straight up carried over into the gaming world. Yes, the shopping carts aren't a problem with glitches anymore. They got their very own stunt mountain, but the fact is, they just didn't really work consistently. If you ever just try using one of those jumps on the mountain, you'll find a lot of the times the shopping carts will just want to flip over no matter how smooth you think you're landing. Similar to the golf carts, the shopping carts have also been vaulted with Season 8, but in at number 2, we've got the Quad Crasher. So the Quad Crasher is definitely one of the vehicles on our list that has probably spent more time in the air than it has on its own 4 wheels. Introduced slightly after the Season 6 update on the 16th of October, we got this rampaging beast. Made as a 2-seater, this Quad Crasher didn't exactly seem that fast, but hit the boost and you'll be off. It has a smiling front metal plow that will smash through nearly anything when boosting. The best part about this 4-wheeled vehicle? Flying. Get yourself up a ramp and get yourself performing a boosting technique that can get you pretty much anywhere on the map at an insane speed. Just be careful when trying to land. If you're anywhere near the edge of the map, you could find yourself getting bounced and flung off the map due to the powerful momentum you picked up. Like the other vehicles, it's had its glitches every now and then you might accidentally drive into another Quad Crasher and you'll be sent flying across the map out of nowhere. For a vehicle that's ground-based, there seems to be a lot of flying involved. One of the most satisfying parts of this vehicle, though, is getting those fall damage eliminations by running into your enemies to send them sky high and falling to their demise. Now, they used to be almost everywhere you could think of, but with the extreme map changes, a lot of spawn locations have disappeared and there's not as many as there used to be. And as for the honorable mention number 1 is going to be the Driftboard. So the Driftboard came out around the 19th of February and there wasn't too much of Season 7 left, so there's still a lot of people enjoying it in Season 8 today, but it was a long wait. We had leaks and information on these Driftboards months beforehand, so the community had been waiting in anticipation for it. There was even glitch methods that would allow players to try it out in creative, but on the main island before Fortnite had even released it. But now that it's finally good and all up and running, we've been having an awesome time on this. If you know how to stay up, that is. The maneuverability is very sensitive and you can easily end up screwing yourself over, but once you figure it out, you're cruising. It's one of the fastest vehicles in the game, and with its boost, you can easily pull off some really great tricks while pulling off a ridiculous trick shot. Think of it as trickception or it's tricky. Honorable mention number 2 is the Pirate Cannon. So imagine a vehicle that has almost the exact basic driving mechanics of a shopping cart, but that has a giant rocket on it and isn't really a vehicle. All right, that's this Season 8's Pirate Cannon, found in areas around pirate structures, ARG. These cannons are a lot more efficient than its predecessor. The shopping cart, it moves in the same way, except the passenger seat is inside the cannon. You can fire cannonballs, teammates, or even yourself across the map. Now, it already has a massive fun factor and an actual damage effect, which is pretty nice, but if you drive into a geyser with this cannon, you can actually shoot cannonballs to send yourself flying in any direction you like. It's insanely fast, and you'll fly like a bullet, but you can get pretty far if done correctly. But in at number 1, we've got the Baller. So when Season 8 dropped, we knew we'd be expecting a lot, but when they removed 3 different vehicles, I think everyone was a little bit surprised. Now, tell me, how many of you actually knew about the Baller before it came out? This vehicle was teased to us in the Season 8 main menu loading screen. In between 2 of the characters, and off in the distance, you can definitely see it. It's just a bit hard to make out, which is why 99% of us couldn't figure out exactly what it was. Not gonna lie, I was thinking a submarine, but similar to the planes, this new vehicle is causing a little bit of controversy, especially how it plays out in the end game. So you'll have to let us know what your experiences of this have been like. Personally, I'm finding it as one of my favorites. I've always been a Tarzan-like person, so swinging through the trees, mountains, and structures has been insanely fun for me.
And if you manage to get that swing right and smash out into opponents, getting that elimination is extremely satisfying at the moment. Obviously, you're not invincible.
Why am I talking like Kermit the Frog? The ball only has 300 health though, so keep an eye on it. But compared to what you'd expect from a giant ping pong ball with a grappling hook attached, there haven't been really really that many issues. One bad glitch that can happen is exiting the vehicle while moving on flat ground. Suddenly, you'll die to fall damage out of nowhere. There's been another glitch found where you can even boost yourself out of the volcano and above the map. On the 18th of May, they actually had to temporarily remove it or work on some stability issues, and everything seems okay at the moment, except for when we all try to grapple each other and go on some kind of helicopter spinning trip. The end circles with all baller players is definitely one of the funniest things to happen at the end game right now, though. It's all down to the last person in the ring. Woo! Last person in the ring. But that has been our list of the top 5 Fortnite vehicles ranked from worst to best. Click that like button if you've enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new, push notifications on, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.